you are not alone in this journey.
You can go fast by yourself, but if you want to go far, go together.
Why do we settle for something that doesn't bring life to us every single day?
There's no better time than today. I was thinking the other day, and the question kind of came into my mind. Do you remember, and this will take you back way, do you remember ever having like a childhood dream? Or like something when you're like maybe in second grade, third grade, you're like, this is what I want to do with my life. Go way back, okay? Way back in the archives. And yeah. And once you get done answering that, then we'll kind of segue into like, was it anything like you thought it would be as you got older in life?
Well, I could distinctly remember 2, but they were very different ages.
Okay.
So I'd say the first one was probably like, I don't know, 3rd, 4th grade. I really wanted to be an MLB baseball player. Like, grew up playing baseball from, age 4, basically till I was a young man. Played into college and all that stuff. And, I was like, I want to go into the MLB. Obviously, like, once I got to high school, I kind of realized, like, wow, my chances of being in the MLB are very slim because I just didn't have that level of talent. But growing up, I was, like, all about it. I mean, you remember the Yankees stuff everywhere, the constantly wanting to play ball. Definitely wanted to be an MLB baseball player for sure.
Before you go to the second one, do you feel like that's most common when you're young versus when you're older? Like, I don't know. Do you think it's, what I mean by that is, do you think it's like a sporadic thought that happens, or do you think it's because it's almost like society coaching you into that from an outside perspective?
Or even just adding to your question, maybe even like a parent programming it, or like you're, because like for me, my grandpa loved baseball.
Okay.
And I spent a lot of time with my grandpa, and baseball was a huge part of our relationship. So like, I could totally see it kind of be like a programs thing. Definitely more like I loved the New York Yankees. That was more of a programs thing for sure. But the desire to be a professional baseball player was like I want to do this. I don't really care what anybody else thinks, because I thought it was cool. I was like, this would be sick. I would love to play baseball the rest of my life. Like, I love baseball. And I still do. Like, whenever I watch it, I just get that like hunger, like that eagerness to like, man, I would just go love to throw a ball around or swing a bat. But here I am almost 30 and I'm like, I haven't done this in years. Hurt myself.
No, that's a really good thought. So I'm curious, what's the second one?
So the only other like really distinct, and this one's less of like, this is what I want to do, and more of like kind of like a mysterious like vision that I've just kind of had. And I don't really talk about this very often, but it was sometime in like middle school. So I don't know, I was 7th grade, 8th grade maybe. And I just remember like this vision of me picture like a big stadium or like a huge auditorium, somewhere where there's thousands of people, but like everything's dark and I can't tell how many people are actually in there, but just on a stage giving a very like inspiring talk, or like almost like a motivational speech. Probably because at that time I was listening to a lot of like Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher. He went from homeless to one of the world's most renowned motivational speakers. Yeah, those type of guys, right? And so that's kind of the other thing. And I don't really talk about that because I don't want that. That scares me to death, and that's probably why I don't talk about it. But that vision has probably been like one of the most clear visions I've ever like seen in my head. That's just been like something I've never forgotten. So,
wow, that's powerful, man.
So before we get too far, what is your childhood? Man, I'm gonna be this.
Well, I think it's not at all what I'm in now, But no, I was actually driving down the road. I was delivering some coffee to a really, really good client of ours. And I don't know what it was, maybe the rain outside or the gloominess. And you know, when you're driving sometimes and like, because there's not a ton of like attention on the road, or like it's just like kind of gray, your mind starts to wander into the weeds. Mm-hmm. That was me like probably a week ago. And I was like, my childhood dream, I remember this probably, I came out and started vocally saying it probably when I was in like 3rd grade, that I wanted to be an architect for a long, long time. Like I love buildings. I don't know what it is. Not just like buildings that are square. I like buildings that have unique creative design with features that aren't in today's architecture. And I thought I was going to be an architect for a long time, to a point where like I went home, studied like, hey, what do I got to do, to get into school for this? What do I have to learn on? And I went to high school, and this would have been probably junior year of high school. And I took my first architecture class actually. And it was an AutoCAD 2D class.
Oh yeah.
I hated it. I absolutely...
Whoa. Hang on. We skipped over the part where he played Minecraft and built the most insane Minecraft stuff.
Yeah. We skipped that part. No, but yeah, like I used to get on the computer and, just build buildings. That's what I did. But I took an actual class at the time. This was before SketchUp, before all the stuff. And it was like 2D CAD, but it was computerized. So it wasn't like on a ruler and on paper. Like we weren't doing that, but it just took so much time. Yeah. And I was like, man, I don't like this. And it's just lines. Like I can see it because I'm a visual person. Yeah. But it really didn't come to life for me. Yeah. So yeah, I hated that and kind of walked away from that. My parents always thought I'd be a builder, like a contractor, build buildings or something like that.
Didn't you started college as an engineer, like, right? You went.
Yeah, I went into STEM because I sucked so bad at English. And I was pretty good with math and science. Yeah, my ACT score was pretty good, but the SAT score was not good at all. But yeah, so I was thinking while I was driving down the road, and I was like, man, like I told everybody I was going to be an architect for a long, long time. And I think it's funny how there's still parts of your childhood dream that still come up in your day-to-day life, even though you're separated from your childhood, right? It never leaves you. And there's parts of that I think are so... I think it's important to carry that with you in every stage of your life that you go through, because there may be a portion of what you're doing that's kind of like a hybrid of that. Yeah. And I was sitting there and I was like, man, forever I just wanted to build vision. Yeah. Like that's my dream. Mm-hmm. I thought it was in buildings, but now we do it in companies. Yep. And we get the free hand of building architecture, but within a company digitally, so that therefore people can see through the lens of our architecture, our internal architecture. Yeah. And I was like, wow, that's so cool that like sometimes like you outgrow your childhood, but you're still a child at the same day.
Oh, dude, 100%. Yeah.
And that's what it kind of blew me away, because forever I thought it was going to be in buildings. Then I was like, went down the college road, find what you don't like and what you do like right away. Mm-hmm. And then technically I am living my childhood dream, just morphed into a slightly different thing. And we're able to build today, whatever we want. Yep. Being an entrepreneur gives you a plain view, a blank slate to do whatever you want to do. And some people that's really, really daunting. But to us, I love it. It's like getting into creative mode on Minecraft or something, and you just have every resource available, or you have few things available, and then you just build whatever you want to build. Yep. So that was kind of like my stray thought that kind of came around, and I remember my parents like being incredibly disappointed temporarily in my life about me not wanting to be an engineer or go into math and science and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, you need to get a degree, you know, go to college, this, and that." And, you know, God had different things for my life. And, you know, I was just trying to go down the road that I thought was best for me at the time. And it turned out to be a much better scenario than anything I had envisioned. You know, I could be in an office, you know, doing work from a subcontract to a subcontract to a subcontract, drawing 2D lines. But now, you know, we get to be hands-on with all these clients and stuff. So it's a very different life.
Yeah, an architect not only of a company, but of people and of their futures as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the most exciting parts about, you know, building a company is having a team and being able to like kind of mold them, shape them, craft them into the best version of themselves, as best as we can. Obviously, like we're still young and discovering who we are and what we are good at and what we want to do, but we have a good grasp of it, I feel like. And so being able to share that with, you know, younger guys or younger gals that are also trying to get where they're trying to go, it's really fun. Yeah. No, it's an interesting thought experiment. You know, just thinking back about your childhood and how you made the decision when you're carefree and when life is way simpler. Like now that it's more complex, it's not as simple as like, oh, I want to be a professional baseball player. Oh, I want to be an architect. Like there's a lot more to it than that. And you almost have to like peel back the layers of like, well, why did I want to be a baseball player? Well, obviously I love baseball, but I really like to compete and I really like to win. I really like to train towards something. I like to, you know, stress my body. I like the mental aspect. I like this, I like that, the strategy, etc. Like, well, in the same way I get all of that today. I get to compete in the marketplace. You know, there's tons of coffee out there. Pure Earth isn't the only coffee, but what separates us? How do I compete and win in a marketplace that's extremely competitive? You know, in the same way you were an athlete, like we have that competitive nature. We have that spirit about us. And then at the same time, we get to use the skills that we developed along the way, whether it was like, hey, I started towards architecture and then shifted gears, or, you know, I started and finished getting a mechanical engineering degree. And there's like, I tell people all the time, I didn't get a mechanical engineering degree. I got a degree in problem solving. And that's what I do every single day, because that's what I liked about engineering. I was never going to be the guy that's going to go, you know, design booster rockets for SpaceX. Like Falcon Heavy is not my dream, man. And those guys do amazing work. I couldn't be that guy. Now, could I lead the team? Yeah, probably if I knew enough. But to lead the team, you have to be really technical for a long time. So that just wasn't my journey. But yeah, the building aspect it's a ton of fun. The competing aspect, ton of fun. And like I said, we were both athletes. The team aspect too, like having a team, not just doing it alone, that part's amazing because it's us versus everybody else basically. So, hey, what do we need to do to differentiate ourselves, to set ourselves apart? Like, let's, you know, step up to the plate and give it our best shot. So
I like what you said there. I think that's really, really important, and important to the audience too. I think knowledge is knowing what you're good at. Wisdom is knowing that you need more people than just yourself. You understanding that you're good at problem solving with parts of engineering, right? But you also you're wise enough to understand that that's only one function of everything we do here. And same thing with me. I understand I'm good at vision. I'm good at creativity. And that's like my specialty, but wise enough to know that at the end of the day, there are some problems that need solved that are very technical that a visionary artist doesn't always solve the problem.
For sure.
And I like that because we are at on the baseline of things, we are very competitive, Bailey and I, since forever.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about what we're doing here, and I think what other people can learn from this, is there's a quote that it's thrown around a lot, but I think it's incredibly important. You can go fast by yourself, but if you want to go far, go together. Mm-hmm. Or it's something of that nature.
Yeah, really close.
And I think a lot of people are like so clenching on their own dream, right? It's only me. It's only me, myself, and I. You know, there's songs about that. But the more you understand how life works, everything was built to coexist, to collaborate in that nature. And I think wisdom is knowing that and finding that out faster.
100%.
You know,
yeah.
I beat my head against the wall trying to be a sole proprietor for 10 years, starting at 18. Not 10 years. We'll say we started at 25, so 7 years or something like that.
It was about a company a year. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I realized, you know what? This would be so much easier if I just had a partner that was good at stuff that I was not good at.
Yeah.
You know?
And even if like you have an overlap in some skills, just having a different perspective.
Yeah.
So nice. So refreshing, because it's like we'll be presented with a problem. And Q's like, hey, we should do this. And I'm like, well, what about this? And he's like, oh, I didn't think about that. And then we keep talking, and I'm like, well, we could do this. And then he's like, well, I think we should do this. And I'm like, dude, that's a killer idea. And it's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Like the back and forth ping pong. Because you can, like, if someone brings me a problem, any problem, I could come to a solution. Now, it's not the best solution in the world necessarily, but it's the best solution that I can come up with. Then you get two people involved, and then it's like, you together can collaboratively approach the best solution. If there's one ultimate solution for every problem out there, the more people you have, the better you can actually attack the problem and solve that problem, I think. So, yeah.
Well, that's true. Like, I don't think there's any problem too hard. I think people are unwilling to navigate the resources they have to make it happen. I mean, it seems like, you know, if you put it on paper, let's go down the road of like partnership versus solopreneur, because it'll make sense a little bit. So if you're a solo entrepreneur, like if Elon Musk came down here and wrote his goal on a piece of paper, go to Mars, right? Him alone, no matter how smart he is, no matter how many abilities he has as an individual, he can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, but it's all a perspective thing. So if you put that same goal on a piece of paper and then you invite 10,000 of the smartest people you know, can it be possible? Well, you know, to be honest, we're testing the limits now.
Yeah.
So I don't think the goal is the issue. I think it's the mindset, how you view the goal. Well, and we talked about this a little bit in some previous podcasts before, but the mindset of things is like really important, because if I go up to you and I say, hey, I need you to talk to 100 people today, you know, that's quite a feat for one individual. But if we had 30 people talk to 3 people, right, it's a lot easier. And it's not like an impossible goal. Right. So the goal of the 100 was not the problem. It was how you view the goal. Yeah. In numbers and collaboration. And I think that's really important with the day and age we're in today. There are a lot of people out there that sometimes think that they have this childhood dream, this goal, this something so big. And that's amazing. But let me ask you a question. Who are you willing to invite along the way so that you can ensure that that happens? Because ideas and dreams are amazing. Like, it's the spark of inspiration that everybody loves. It's something truly miraculous. But what I think is more important is, who are you willing to collaborate with? Who are you willing to work with along the way so that you can ensure that what you say is actually going to get done? And so that's something like we're navigating right here, right now. We understand that where we want to go as this giant goal requires more than just me and you. It requires
100%.
so many more people than that.
Yeah.
Right. And we're in the day and age of technology where automation exists just as much as anything. It's very fluid. You can come across automation in one Google search within the cell phone that you carry.
Yeah.
And so we can harness a lot of this for the goodness of what we're trying to achieve in life. And so that's my challenge to people is, if I could wrap up a really, really good tip to somebody, it would be willing to collaborate more than you're willing to do anything else. I love that people are willing to share their dream with people, and that's giddy. That's awesome. But who are you talking to? Who are you inviting along the way? Who are you mentoring to then help you maybe one day with achieving something like this?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a little bit where my head was going. Because it's the opposite of the way the brain thinks sometimes, depending on how it's programmed. Because I think we're all programmed to be selfish in some way. Yeah, I think every individual is like, I want what I want and nobody else.
Yep.
But the more you understand how the world works and how life works, I think the more you can invert that and you can open your hand, the more you actually get done.
Yeah. I think the best way to get what you want is to articulate it as clearly as you can in a way that inspires people to help you get what you want. So what I mean by that is, like, when your goal is huge, you need a bigger team, and the only way you can run teams is with your mouth. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't go control that person. You can't do anything. The only thing you can do is speak the life that you're trying to get out of them into them, right? Like, I need to inspire this group of people to move towards this goal that I have, and they're also on board with the goal. They're inspired to go attack that goal, and that's how we progress and move things forward. It's exactly like what you were saying with Elon Musk. Like, and he himself didn't have to go find 10,000 people. He inspired 100 people, and then those 100 people turned into 1,000 people, and that 1,000 people turned into 10,000 people, and however big all of his companies are, but yet they all point back to one common goal for that specific company. Hey, we're getting to Mars. Hey, we're creating the best electric vehicles out there. Hey, we're digging holes in the ground with the boring company. Like, whatever the goal is, there's a purpose for it. Mm-hmm. So inspiring people with the words you speak and leading them, I think that's the only way you can get the goals done.
What probed me kind of to think about this is, I think everybody has the same dreams to some factor, right? When you're a child. I think most people have some of the most reoccurring dreams. I want to be an athlete. I want to do this, that. I think what separates the people that have the dream and the people that actually are most successful with it, is they understand this key factor. It's who's on my team to help me make this happen.
Right.
And sometimes, and we don't talk about this, and I'm going to side note this a little bit. Sometimes some of the most important people on your team are not people actually making the tasks get done, but they're supporting you because you're the source to get the tasks done. Yeah. Like, in the same way, like my wife, like, doesn't really play a big part in this company, but she plays a big part into me, and I'm a big part of the company.
Correct.
So it's incredibly important. That's my team.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? That's my internal team that then gets me to my other team.
Yep.
Same thing with Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, LeBron James. I think at one point they all had a dream of playing basketball as, a young kid. They probably saw an all-star at one point, and they're like, man, I want to do this.
Yeah.
But if you really actually interview some of these guys and you get the raw form of what they're saying, how many trainers, how many coaches, how many workout buddies, how many grandmas that, prayed their way through every Division I draft, that they had before they got into the NBA draft. Like, there's so many more people than just that one person that's behind the scenes in the team of things. And I think that's what a lot of people are missing is they see the Michael Jordan, they think it's a solo thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, not at all, not even close. And that's what I'm trying to try to get across to the audience is it's so important. It's great to have the dream. It's amazing to have the childhood part, but it's so important to have the people behind you with that. And I'm not here to take credit for this. You're not here to take credit for this. We've got an incredible team here that helps every part come together.
Right.
And every single person is incredibly important because we wouldn't be here without it.
Right.
And we just understood right away, like, collaboration is how we're going to actually achieve what we say we're going to achieve. It's just a great thing.
100%. It's funny, as you were talking about trainers and mentioned, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, it's interesting. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, well, Kobe would go to the gym at 3-4 in the morning and just shoot hoops by himself. Like, no, not always. Like, they don't know that Tim Grover was sitting on the sidelines coaching every step of the way, analyzing every step of the way, like he did with Michael Jordan and now he did with Kobe Bryant. And so it may look like someone's going at it alone, but that's probably because their standards of excellence are so high. There's only one other guy or two other guys that can operate at the same level, like, Kobe Bryant, the Mamba mentality. There's only Tim Grover who could do that. There's no other trainer. And in the same way, like our team, we hold high standards, and that's how we get the results that we do, is because we want to push the envelope in every aspect of our life. We want growth. We want excellence. Like, from this video getting edited to the bags getting sealed and shipped out the door, we're doing every step with a purpose, with excellence, to the best of our abilities. Why? Because at the end of the day, we believe our work is worship, and that matters to us. I love this thought track, though, of just teams and partnership and collaboration, and you are not alone in this journey type of thing. Because I know there's people out there right now that are like, man, I've been at this for 9 months, and I told myself I'd quit it after the 12th month, and you may have 3 months left. Like, you're just missing out on that person that can help you get to the next level. And you just got to go out and find them. Like, just start shaking hands with people. Just start introducing yourself, talking about what you're building, what you're doing, what your dreams are, and the right people will come out of the woodwork. Almost guarantee it. So it's huge.
Yeah.
Why do you think we lose the childhood excitement about chasing our dreams? Because you were like driving in the car thinking about your childhood dreams and what you thought you wanted to be. I think about why people lose that altogether. Why do we settle for something that doesn't bring life to us every single day? Like, why do we settle for, well, this job pays the bills, so I'm just going to stay at it?
Wow.
Like, you hate what you do. That's not the life you should be living.
Yeah.
Why do we settle? Why do we forget our dreams?
I think it's two things. I think it's distraction and no real urgency. Distraction being a really big one for a lot of people. Life goes by. Time goes on. You get to the next week. You get married, you start having kids, and it becomes harder and harder. It's not impossible to start your dreams later in your life. There are plenty of successful people that started at 60, right? Like Colonel Sanders and KFC. But I think there's a second part to that, which is the urgency side. There's nothing pulling you so hard to get off of where you're at to actually get something done. And sometimes that's an internal thing. I think everybody at some point will hit an urgency clock because your time here expires.
Yeah.
There will be a time where, whether it's at 65, 85, 105, at some point your time on this earth will expire. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people if you take the last interview of the last 10 minutes of their life, they finally seek the urgency. Or they spend that last 10 minutes saying, man, I'm so glad I did everything that I was supposed to be doing and followed my dreams and did everything I said I was going to do. I think distraction's a big thing for a lot of people, but there definitely is an urgency side thing to it. You're never going to have a better time than now to get something done. Mm-hmm. Never. I promise you, if you say you're going to start 5 years from now and it's going to be easier, it's going to be way harder, because you're going to have either more risk, more leverage, more kids, more stuff on your life. It's always going to be easier to do it now. But they don't instill the urgency of now. They just think maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the distraction side of things, like, there's a whole nother world that we can get into, but I don't know if I want to open that up right now.
Yeah. That's another podcast.
But yeah, aligning yourself with somebody who you decide to be with that has kind of the same goals. Bailey talks about it all the time. At least with me, I'm very like, I know what I want. This is what I want. Get out of my way if it's not what I want.
Yep.
And I'm not trying to do that because that's like, I'm a mean guy. No, it's like, I understand if I have so much time in this life, if I don't choose what I want today, it's not going to get done to that tune.
Yep.
So when I went through the dating phase, before I got married, like, not that everybody should do this, but me specifically, like, if this didn't work, that didn't work, and that didn't work, I'm wasting my time. We should probably not go on a second, third date, because it's not going to work. And fortunately, I found the most amazing wife in my entire life, and she's the love of my life. And she is everything that I ever wanted and 10 more.
Yeah.
And she helps me stay on track.
Yep. When
I'm like, do I really want this? Even though I get down the road and I'm like, man, I said this 10,000 times. Like, and that's a great thing. So I think some people have a partner, quote unquote, that may be prohibiting that. And I'm not saying you should break up or you should separate things. I'm just saying, like, distraction and urgency, I think, are probably the two biggest things and why people don't go down that road.
Q-Dog, the love doctor. I want to go back real quick to what you were saying about, like, just starting today. As you were saying it, a verse in Ephesians 5 came up, and I'll just read it real quick so I don't mess it up. But it says, "Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is." So that key part, the days are evil. You know, you may think you've got time, but we don't know how long. I mean, we could leave this place and get hit by a bus. Mm-hmm. We could go home tonight, fall asleep, and never wake up. Like, it sounds a little morbid, but time here is very limited, and that's why time is your most precious resource. Like, greater than any dollar amount, greater than any possession, time is the most valuable thing. Your time and your attention. And going back to the original question, why do we give up on our big dreams that we had when we were kids? Man, I think a lot of times we have this idea of where we want to go, and because we're young and impressionable, I think we slowly get pulled. You know, you meet someone that you're like, oh, I care about what they think about me, and they influence you towards this direction, but you should be going this way, so you start to go this way a little bit. And then you meet someone else, and they kind of bring you back a little bit. And then you meet another person, or you do another thing, you make a mistake, you're trying to learn some new skill, and it doesn't go the way you want it to, whatever. But I think some people either realign with that intentional goal or an iteration of that goal, kind of like what we're doing, or they just continue to let themselves be pulled away because they don't have that foundational reason why they're approaching what they're approaching. So I think deep down, you and I didn't think, when we were kids, hey, we're going to build a coffee company. But you and I also, what we did think was we want to impact people and make a positive change in their lives. And it just so happened that coffee is the medium by which we do that. Mm-hmm. And the influence we will have through a simple cup of coffee is actually, it's a pretty powerful tool, which is really a cool thing. So yeah, we kind of had that alignment of our purpose that we recognized at a young age. And so, yeah, I think the urgency thing is huge. If your purpose for being here on earth isn't honestly crystal clear, if you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, you should probably start there. Like, question everything. Like, man, why do I believe this about what I do? Like, why do I show up to a job that I hate every single day? And I get it. Like, there's some purpose to and nobility to going to a job and providing for your family. If that's why you do it, I keep going, brother. That's awesome. But if you have that hunch deep down that there's something missing of you, and you know that there's like a deeper calling for your life, and you have that thing that you're super passionate about doing, but you never take the step towards it, I'd challenge you to go take that step, because the days are evil.
Wow. That's really good. I'm going to pair something with that.
Do it, please.
Ecclesiastes 11:4. Farmers who wait for perfect weather never plant. If they watch every cloud, they never harvest. It says here, this proverb teaches that overanalyzing risk or waiting for ideal conditions prevents progress, encouraging action and faith despite uncertainty.
Ooh. Love what you just said. Action and faith. Action and faith. Man, what a good pair. That hits home. I tell my wife a lot right now, on the other side of this leap and having faith in what we're doing is the life we desire most. Mm-hmm. And I believe that wholeheartedly. It's very hard to see some days, but just saying it out loud, there's almost like this like airiness to the way you walk and feel after you say it, because you're like, yeah, like I'm making this decision for a reason. It's not like, it may feel like the riskiest thing in the world to you in the moment, but you know that after you actually step into it, it's like, oh, this ain't so bad. Like, you thought the ocean was ice cold, you put a toe in, you're like, ooh, that's chilly. And then you get knee deep and you're like, well, it's not that bad. And then you just go submerge yourself. And then it's like, yeah, I'm chilling. Like, I'm enjoying this. The sun's hot, the water's cool. This is perfect, man. Like, you just got to dive in. So, action and faith, man. I love that.
I don't know who coined it, but I remember hearing it a long time ago. Fear is nothing but a glass wall. As soon as you break through it, there's nothing on the other side. Besides the barrier of the initial part. So I think everything in your life, maybe it's not entirely urgency. Maybe it's fear with that. And just sometimes it's really important for you just to test what you're afraid of. And not test, that's a bad way of saying it. But
no, I actually really like that. When you said that, I had the image of like David going up against Goliath.
Yeah.
And like David he was filled with faith, but dude, like the flesh is strong in all of us. He grabbed them stones and was like, we'll see. Like, all right, here we go. He had more faith in God than he did in himself slinging those rocks. And that's why he was successful, because God promises he's going to take care of us. Yeah, that's wild. I was thinking of something else too.
Keep on talking.
I know. I was thinking of something else, and you saying that totally just like David and Goliath moment.
Well, if we could go back and be in the shoes, there, just as a fly on the wall per se in the time frame. I promise you, David was probably scared and fearful. But what he had internally didn't matter for what was outweighing the external thing, and that was pleasing God.
Mm.
Right? So when you take your fear and you put it up against pleasing God and pleasing, like, his fear couldn't stay in the same room. And it's one of those things where you have to choose one or the other. It talks about it in scripture all the time. You cannot be hot nor cold. You either are for God or you're against God.
Yeah.
I think what David understood in that moment, and it had nothing to do with Goliath. Goliath was in the way of him pleasing God. And so he ran through what fear he had because he had an urgency to please God.
And on the other side of that glass that was Goliath.
And on the other side of that
was him
glass,
being king, bro.
Yeah. And, the other side of that coin, maybe the biggest fear in your life may be the biggest outcome, the biggest thing that you've been talking about, you've been dreaming about since you were a kid.
Yeah.
Maybe just on the other side of that is what we talk about.
I would argue it definitely is. Like, obviously there's fears like, hey man, that bear looks like it's about to charge and attack me. Yeah, don't go up against the bear. But like,
Kodiaks don't play around.
Figuratively speaking here, I mean, let's say you are, hey, I've got to go take out this loan to go start this business, and you're like scared to death because, hey, you don't, nothing's guaranteed. You don't know if you can pay off this high interest loan and all this stuff. But if that's the fear that you have to step into, and just, hey, I'm doubling down on myself. I'm betting everything that this is gonna win. I mean, what is the worst that happens? Like, you end up in some debt, your business fails, and you learn from it, and then you apply that to the next opportunity. Because obviously you had the balls, the gumption to go after it once. You're probably gonna go after it again, I would assume. I was reading about a local entrepreneur here, and he was like, well, the path is either I do this and I succeed, or I fail and I start over.
Yeah, well, and a lot of people, their biggest fear is failing and starting back where you used to be.
But you're not where you used to be.
But you're never going to start where you used to be.
It's impossible.
Because you always learn something, even if you fail.
Yep.
Always. So you'll never be the same person ever again.
Yeah, I bet, like, if you know how to ride a bike, you could be successful at whatever you choose to do. Because you probably fell off that bike the first time you rode it without training wheels.
I can tell you how not to ride a bike.
Yeah, right. Like, exactly. You learned all the ways how not to ride it until you could ride it. And now you're like, hey, this is how you ride it because I've done it successfully. And you forget about all the ways that you didn't ride the bike because it doesn't matter anymore. It's like poof, gone. Like, when was the last time we thought about how not to ride a bike? You don't think about it like that. That's the inverse, and it doesn't make sense. So, I don't know. Like, all of this could blow up in our face at some point. It could all go to zero, and then we would start over. And it's not even starting over, because the connections you've built,
Yep.
the relationships you've made,
Yep.
all the knowledge you've gained, all the skills you've gained, like, you will never be back at square one, truly. Yeah.
So everything everybody ever told you in your entire life is not true.
Bingo. Except for 2 + 2 = 4.
If you fail, you'll be exactly where you're at before. That's not even true.
Nope. Because, I mean, the value of your experiences is immense. But when you're a kid, you don't have experiences. Ooh, and maybe this is why people don't follow their dreams, is because they allow other people and other people's experiences to dictate these kids as they're going towards their dreams and goals and the experiences that these adults or friends or whatever, that they're, oh, you can't do that because I tried to do that and it didn't work for me, or oh, you can't do that because only 1% of 1% of people get into the pros, or you can't do that because you're like, I remember somebody told me once, like, I would never play D1 because I was 5'9" and 180 in high school. And like, yeah, they were right, but knowing what I know now, had I started training a certain way sooner, I bet I could have competed in the Division I baseball, like 100%. So like, don't let some loser dictate the rest of your life because you just take them at their word. Like, who are they to say you can't go do something? Like, it's your life. It was given to you by God. So it's between you and God. Like, nobody else.
And when David stepped up, he had older brothers that were more qualified that told him from their experience they couldn't kill Goliath. And he still did it.
Mm-hmm.
He had multiple brothers who were in the army who were high up close to King Saul. And they tried to portray that onto young David, even though God told him, this is what I've designed you to do. This is what I want you to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not always about the qualification, that what other people think you need. It's not about that.
Yep. God qualifies the called.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So if you struggle with inadequacy, or, hey, I don't have what it takes, I'm unqualified to do X, Y, Z. Nah. I mean, we were unqualified to do what we're doing, and then we got qualified. But, whenever you start something, you're unqualified. Our first roaster was a little homemade, like, it was like a barbecue nut rotisserie roaster that we fabbed just to start roasting because we were curious, hey, how does this work? And that was enough qualification for us to start roasting. Like, man.
It was a rotisserie chicken on a Craftsman drill with duct tape and a Bunsen burger.
We should throw the image up, dude.
That sucker was
put it right here.
Mint.
Or here, wherever it's gonna go. Just show it. Yeah, man. Back in the day. So, but you got to start somewhere too. Like, you're not gonna become great just because it is your purpose. It's gonna have a lot of friction, and that's another reason why people don't pursue it. It's because the resistance is really strong. Ooh, I remember what I was gonna say. Comfort, complacency, and convenience. I think those three things are killers of dreams. We love being comfortable. We love just status quo. And we're complacent because the lack of urgency. And honestly, dude, nowadays, 21st century, everything's at our fingertips. If it's not quick and easy, I don't want it. I think those
That's
three
true.
things.
It's not convenient to suffer for a prolonged period of time.
Dude, yeah. And, I would argue that when you're pursuing your purpose and fulfilling what your purpose is, it's not really suffering.
That I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
It's not. If you get to wake up, do what you do every single day and love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
Amen.
And regardless of, the more you get in it, the more you understand that you're willing to do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And that's why it is just this glass window, this glass wall.
Yep.
Because you think you have to have it all figured out before you shatter it. Mm-hmm. And that's not true. Sometimes you walk through that and you gather things along the way that you realized, maybe I'll need this. And it happens to be very, very important later down the line.
Yeah, dude.
And that's life, man. You build your own life at your own pace, at your own convenience.
Yeah, you're just a slab of marble that you're constantly chipping away. Yep. So I guess to wrap all this up, what would you say, like, final thought on all this, on childhood dreams? What you got?
I'm going to go back to a point we made early on in the podcast. Be willing to collaborate.
Yeah.
I think you're aligning you're trying to align the impossible vision to actual map and how you get it done. I think a lot of that is, if you put your dream on a piece of paper, it's really hard to achieve.
Yeah.
But if you invited 10,000 people, or let's say 100 people or 10 people, it's actually not that hard to get where you want to go. It's all about the perspective of that. So don't let somebody tell you what you can and can't do. Call 10 more people who are more qualified and better, and I think you'll get further down the road. Another key takeaway, understand that there is an urgency in life. Urgency is, you're forever expiring. So there's no better time than today for you to do something, to be truly, truly joyful in what you do every day. Attack that, and attack your fear. Whatever your fear is, behind that fear is everything you ever wanted in life. And so be willing to do what other people tell you shouldn't happen, or don't let that keep you where you're at.
Yeah. Action and faith, baby.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you guys tuning in on the Pursuit Podcast, and we'll check you on the next episode.
Peace.
See you.